Hello, it's Garnet again with my assistant Bobby. I'm still doing the Big Daddy thing. What I'd like to talk to you about is brain entrainment. And, it's a term that's used quite a lot these days. We think about it a good deal. And in the more explored, professional, and scientifically verified aspects of brain entrainment, which I think are meaningful, there is a principle, and I think entrainment is an easy enough thing to understand. It's like if you hear music, it's not difficult for you to begin to, tap your foot or even dance to the music. That's an idea of entrainment, where there's a signal and other systems start to vibrate, start to oscillate, start to follow the frequency. They start to become entrained. And this occurs in mechanical systems, even like famously the pendulum clock, where it was first noted, all the way up to our organism. So if you stimulate the body, stimulate the brain, you can't really separate one from the other, with a rhythm, whether it's light or sound or some other means. For the neurolight, obviously it's a combination of integrated light and sound. The brain will begin, in part, not the entire brain, in part, will begin to dance with you, to follow the rhythm. That's brain entrainment. So here's the issue, here's the point, that let's choose 8 hertz, just to choose one. If I pulse you, pulse even Bobby here, with 8 hertz, let's say light or sound or light and sound, the brain will tend to, for a period of time, as long as the signal persists, it may start to follow along with you. Like taking a walk with somebody and you start to follow the same cadence. If you go 8, 9, meaning a difference of 1, 8 for a while, 9, 8, 9, 8, 9, the entrainment will still happen, but not as quickly and not as enduring because of that little shift, 8, 9, 8, 9. If you go 8, 9, 10, 8, 10, 8, 10, that's a difference of 2, then the entrainment starts to weaken, and it may persist or may not persist. It'll start to follow, then lose it. Imagine trying to dance to music where the beat or the rhythm starts to change that much. It's kind of hard to follow it because it keeps changing, and it's a perceptible change. If it's 8 to 11, that's a difference of 3, then the brain will not be able to entrain. It starts and it gets confused, and the entrainment process further weakens and typically breaks down, meaning you don't get entrainment. So this is a principle in neuromodulation techniques. It's, I would say, well accepted. It's been well proven numerous times over and over again. So in relation to the neurolight, I make this point that we use what I've been calling now brain engagement as a way of messaging the brain to, signaling the brain. It's a way of signaling the brain to message the mind. It's an engagement. It's more like a conversation than a monologue. It's more like music than just a simple rhythm. It has melody, it has chorus, it has returns, and so on. So how does brain entrainment with this principle fit into the brain engagement of the neurolight? I say, and this is an estimation, that the brain entrainment aspect in the compositions plays a role, but that role is a minor role. I tried to give it some kind of proportion, to give you a feeling. It's like 15 or 20% or something like that. So what would that mean? Well, there are times in compositions where I do work to induce a frequency following response, meaning that I will keep the composition at a certain tempo or frequency for a longer period of time before it shifts again. And that can be a single, like 888, or it can be an 89, 89, but I don't expect if it goes 8:10, and I certainly know if it goes 8:11, meaning if it's jumping that much, there's no entrainment. So be careful with your appreciation of what entrainment means and what its outcome can be. Entrainment is not the only way to interact with the brain. There are lots of ways, like writing a movie script, like composing a symphony. They have impact, but they don't just stay on one tempo. So brain entrainment, from all of the technical, professional, or scientific studies, show pretty clearly that if you want strict conventional entrainment, stay at that one single beat. If you want a risk, you can jump to 1. If you are satisfied with a very weak potential entrainment, you can go to 2. But if you go as far as 3 or more, there's not going to be entrainment. It's an entirely different phenomena. So just a little bit about the technicality of what constitutes, in the rhythmic neuromodulation world, what constitutes a style of signaling that will elicit the classic or conventional brain entrainment. Thanks very much. Bye from Bobby. Bye-bye.